So I was gonna record this intro, and then I ran into a slight problem. This guy decided to be cuddly right as I'm recording it. I have the fursuit right here. It's right there. I was about to put it on, but no, this guy decides to be cuddly. I just wanted to show you the fact that, as adorable as they are, and as good of his content they make, they can just be a bit much sometimes. Is this gonna get him off the lap? Let's see. Ah! Nope. He got even more comfy. Heavy, I'm going to record these intros before I put on this thing. And I swear, if you keep this in to make me look dumb, I wouldn't be surprised.
Am I really that predictable? I mean, I've done this joke plenty of times.
Actually, why am I threatening you? You're gonna keep this in. You always keep segments like this in. Disclaimer. This video may contain topics sensitive to some people. If you're below the age of, I'd say, 15, I don't recommend watching this. Can I stop you? No. Which is why I'm not gonna age restrict this. Because technically, I can't stop you. And I am warning you beforehand. If you go into this and you get scarred, it's your fault. I am warning you. If you do not like topics of suggestive stuff, do not continue watching. Click off the video, go watch whatever the heck is in your recommended, and subscribe while you're at it, because why not? Yeah, it does indeed exist. It is a thing that is in this fandom. It is a thing that a lot of people think is the staple to this fandom. I wonder why. It's like, you go on Twitter, and all you can see is Yiff. All you can see is Yiff. All there is. The wholesome art is just buried in Yiff. It makes no sense. All you can see is Yiff. Now, I may not know why, but I have been requested, probably not held hostage by Heavy. What are you talking about?
I'm clearly holding you hostage. I don't know what you're talking about. That's crazy.
To make a video about this subject. The different types of it, why it's running rampant in the fandom, or at least my theory, why, and my opinion on it. Really bad intros aside, I think Yiff is indeed, I wouldn't say a problem in the fandom. That's just something you can't prevent in a fandom like this. It's inevitable, but I personally would say it's a bit much. Now, obviously, there are the different kinds of Yiff. First up, we got the straight stuff, which, not very surprising, there's not really much of that. It's very rare, not really rare, but it's a lot less rampant than, you know, the gay stuff. Which brings me into the next category, the gay stuff. Again, typical things. Except this time you got werewolf daddies and femboy foxes.
That's literally you!
Me and Stan just fucked up AT&T.
Those are about the two divisions. Then you got Bowser somewhere in there, because why not? And then we got the more questionable categories. Category number 1. Inflation. Inflation is just taking someone, or no, it's someone most of the time, and just kind of making them, as one man has quoted it, big and round. You're turning them into a balloon. Some people are into that, some are not, and it's completely respectful to respect everyone's whole things that they have. Am I into that? Very, very situationally.
Yo, what did he say?
Next category we got is another, well, actually, it's a lot more common than inflation. I don't even know what order this is in. You got hypnosis. Hypnosis, self-explanatory, it's in the name. You're hypnotized into doing something.
That's what it is. It's hypnotism to do something. Typically, it's something involving, at least from what I've seen, femboys. And you got transformation. Now, there's actually a game based off of this, and I didn't mention this either, but there's also a game for inflation called Tribal Hunter, which is the inflation one, but the one for transformation, very well known. It's called
Just because you said that, I'm skipping this entire segment.
So now that we got all those niche categories away, I wouldn't really put inflation under niche now I think about it. Inflation's more like supposed to be in the second part of this, but for some odd reason I said it first. Because I guess it's the least harmful out of the second part. Because this next thing is vor. Everyone knows what vor is at this point. It's a guy straight up eating another guy. I am into this very situationally, again I say.
You know what?
Legalize nuclear.
I hate saying if I'm into this stuff or not, but whatever. Anyway, so you got inflation, you got hypnosis, you got transformation, and you got vor. These are the big ones. And then there's a bunch of subcategories that I won't go into, because if I went into those this video would be a lot longer. And there's also a lot more questionable ones in terms of how people look at them. You got, I don't even want to, basically, bodily functions as fetishes. I don't think I need to say more than that. And then right after all of that, you got my final one for this explanation. This one, I am on thin ice with. I let people be their own selves normally, and I let people do what they want to do, because I am a furry as well. But this is kind of where I start crossing the line. I let people be people, but I really... My opinion on this is very, very interesting. You got the diaper first. And no, I did not mistake that, or mispronounce that. That's what they're called. Because it's people role-playing as freaking babies, or toddlers on the internet. Now that's fine, in a normal sense. Now when you start getting to the more fetish aspect of that, that's where I start crossing the line. Because that's very close to a thing that is quite literally illegal. Which gets me into one more thing. Feral Yiff. Feral Yiff is closely tied with another illegal thing. Let's just say it starts with the word that you typically go to see animals at in the first place. Feral and diaper and cub. Cub is just essentially baby animals. Is where I start drawing the line. Cub and feral is where I definitely draw the line. Like, I'm not touching that. But diaper's more of like, you're right behind the line. Right behind the line of, get out of here. Now, my theory on why this Yiff is a rampant problem in this fandom is, well, it's been like this ever since the beginning. I watched this documentary once. I will link it in the description if I can remember what it was. But what it mentioned is, in the early days of the fandom, they noticed that they were attracted, as per se, to the characters they were fans of. That's the beginning of it. And as that begins, especially since most of the people in this fandom are artists in the first place, that can cause a Yiff problem. A huge Yiff problem. So yeah, that's my tiny lesson on Yiff. He says his recording's 8 minutes long, which is literally longer than any other video he's made. My opinion on this entire thing, I said it in the beginning. It may be a bit much. Can we quote-unquote fix it? Probably not. Is it a thing that is going to deteriorate the reputation of our fandom? Most definitely. But that's the thing. no matter what we do, in the public eye, we're gonna be seen as weird. It's a new, unique thing that hasn't really been discussed before. Like anime fandom, that's apparently average because it's anime's TV shows. You got the movie fandoms, the Star Wars, the Star Trek, and all that fun stuff. That's average. Those are TV shows and movies. Furry fandom is completely different. And because it's completely different, and it's a fandom of something that's a character, like a character trait, and not like a specific show, movie, or something like that, or genre, it's treated differently. No matter what we do, we are going to be seen as weird, and we are going to be hated by probably pretty much everyone. But it's kind of the beauty that because we're hated, or rejected almost, it kind of brings everyone like that together. Those who have always been seen as quote-unquote weird in society, such as myself. I was seen as a very weird kid, I guess you can say. But I found this fandom, and sure, it hasn't fixed all of my social anxiety. Yeah, it's still in a huge amount. I still have it a lot. But it's helped me fix it. It's definitely helped me. Even if it's just the tiniest bit. That's the beauty of this fandom. Despite all the yiff, despite all that fun stuff, it's kind of like, since we're treated so badly, everyone that is counted as weird in society can come together and just be there for each other. But yeah, this video is getting way too long. It's like 12 minutes. That's all I have to say. Unless Heavy has anything he wants to add. Do you want to add anything, Heavy?
Please check out my socials. I spent a decent amount of time working on this video, and I'd be appreciative if you went over to my stuff and check out my content as well. And also, watch Carry the Creek.
Alright. Subscribe, I guess.